Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm Denise Stegall. I'm the CEO and curator of Living Healthy List. And I was so excited because I was scheduled to be the MC for the annual Community of Wellness Conference that's usually scheduled here in Rochester, Minnesota. It was scheduled on March 20th. So unfortunately, with the current situation, we had to postpone the event. But the Lotus Health Foundation and the Rochester Clinic, they don't want you to feel abandoned or without support. So with much devotion, they have worked with the community partners to create resources to educate, inform, and to support you. They're all here to provide you with the best resources, with dedicated experts to discuss how to reverse diabetes, how to reverse heart disease, how to eat more and still lose weight, and how to effectively lighten the burden of mental health issues. At this time, this is really, all of these are important to focus on. So today, I am really excited to be here with Dr. Michael Greger. Many of you might know Dr. Greger from all the things that he does in the health and wellness world. But let me tell you a little bit about him. So Dr. Greger is a physician. He is a New York Times best-selling author and an internationally recognized professional speaker on a number of important health issues. He has lectured at conferences on world affairs at the National Institute of Health, among so many others. He's also testified before Congress and appeared on shows like The Colbert Report and The Dr. Oz Show. Dr. Greger is a licensed general practitioner specializing in clinical nutrition and is a founding member of the fellow of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. He is also the founder of nutritionfacts.org. Dr. Greger, thank you so much for being here with me today.
So happy to be here. Sorry I can't be there in person.
Well, we are actually having great weather here in Rochester, Minnesota, so it would be a perfect time for you to come.
Next time.
Next time. Hopefully when we reschedule, you'll be able to join us. So with all of this that's going on with COVID-19, we're focused so much on how to not get sick from COVID, how to stay healthy, how to wash our hands. But there's so many people who are suffering from chronic things, chronic issues that seem to, kind of right now being brushed under the table.
They actually go together, right? I mean, if you look at the morbidities that increase one's risk of a severe course of COVID-19 in terms of hospitalization, ICU, and death, these are obesity, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease. These are all diseases that can be prevented, arrested, even reversed with a healthy enough diet and lifestyle. So this is the perfect time to take care of yourself.
It is. I completely agree. But I think there are a lot of people out there that don't quite make the connection. What is the first thing that we say to people, or what are the first steps that people can take to say, okay, maybe I haven't been living the best, healthiest lifestyle. I need to make some changes. What are some of those changes?
Well, I have a free app on iPhone and Android called Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen, which just talks about all the healthiest of healthy foods one can eat to include in their daily diet. So, beans every day, legumes, beans, split peas, chickpeas, lentils, berries every day, the healthiest fruits, greens every day, the healthiest vegetables, quarter teaspoon of turmeric, a tablespoon of ground flax seeds, the best beverages, the best sweeteners, how much exercise to get every day. Basically just to inspire people to include some of these healthiest of healthy foods. If there were just, three things I would add to someone's diet first, it would be berries, greens, and legumes. If there were the three first things I would remove from people's diets would be one, trans fats, these hydrogenated oils found being phased out of the food supply, but still found in meat and dairy. Two would be processed meat, bacon, ham, hot dogs, lunch meat, sausage, known to be carcinogenic in people. And third would be soda, liquid candy. Those would be probably the top three things I'd remove from someone's diet, and that would go a long way towards improving people's health.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, since you and I are talking, you're on your treadmill, exercise is a big part of living a healthy lifestyle. So let's talk about exercise.
Sure. So I recommend 90 minutes of moderate intensity exercise a day. But there are independent benefits of just not being sedentary. So sitting 6 or more hours a day, even if you then after work go work out an hour in the gym, still increases one's mortality over those sitting less than 6 hours a day. So so those are two separate things. So having a standing, if you work at a desk, having a standing desk or a walking treadmill, something like that, where you can actually just keep active, keep blood from stagnating in your lower extremities. That can go a long way. If you do have to sit, there are these little like fidget bars and things you can have under your desk to keep your calves pumping blood throughout your body. Yeah, and in terms of right now, exercise is critical in terms of keeping one's immune system active. Same thing with getting sufficient sleep as well as stress management. All things you can do to support a healthy immune system during this time.
Mm-hmm. And I know myself personally, when I get my exercise and I'm outside as much as I can, living in Minnesota, there's a mental health aspect to exercise too, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. And not just in terms of improving one's mood, but improving things like ADD, attention deficit disorder, in children. There's benefits for generalized anxiety disorder. So absolutely, that's a great way to work off some of that stress, that anxiety from the times we're living in, is to get exercise. Of course, these days you need to do it safely, meaning away from other people. It's still okay to go outside. We just need to keep our distance and make sure that we don't get infected. But you can't get the virus if the virus can't get to you. And so you just need to make sure that you wash or sanitize your hands after touching public surfaces and before you touch your mucous membranes, your mouth, inside your nose or your eyes, and just stay away from people.
Yes, stay away from people. It's tough. I certainly see the strain and the stress that people are feeling because they're disconnected with people. A friend of mine who is a doctor out in California had a really great suggestion. Rather than calling what we're doing social distancing, she's called it physical distancing. And I think for me, that was a mental health kind of checkup thing.
Yeah, physical distancing or spatial distancing as opposed to social distancing. Absolutely. This is a time when we need the opposite. We need connection, albeit at a distance. And so what a great time to connect with all those friends you had from way back when, and write letters. What a concept to people, as long as the post office continues to work. Yeah, people should take advantage of this time to reconnect with loved ones and take time for yourself. You always wanted to, start yoga or start meditating or, try, experimenting with new ways to, cook dried beans, something like this. This is the time. Many people have the luxury these days of having that extra time. Although, of course, we should not forget all the essential workers out there, not only those on the front lines in the healthcare battle, but those, keeping the supply chains going. We need to not just keep them in our prayers, but keep them in our social net, and not forget them when we're doing a policy.
I agree, and it's really an important piece of all of that. Is there are still people. So many of us are working from home who don't typically work from home, and there's so many people who are out there that are working on all of our behalfs. And it is important. And I think when we do need to go out, because people still are going to the grocery stores, that it's for both people, the person who's going to the store and the workers, it's so important to wear a mask and do the appropriate things.
Right. Remember, the mask is protecting other people, not protecting yourself. That does not mean you can get close to anybody. We still need to make sure to, respect to hand hygiene and social distancing, and not have the kind of a false sense of security. But certainly it should cut down on the amount of virus we are spreading out into the world, if indeed we're infectious, before we even know we have it.
Mm-hmm. Very good point. Very, very good point. So we have this time on our hands, and so it is a great opportunity, as you mentioned, to to do some new things, to maybe cook differently. What would you say to someone who says, I don't know what to do? I have all of this stuff in my house now, this food, this healthy food. What do I do with it?
Yeah, it's amazing. If you look at the, dried bean sales or canned bean sales for them, finally, I've been telling everyone to eat beans in a while. Finally, people are actually getting the question is, then what do you do with it? And thankfully, the internet's still on, and there are millions of recipes for healthy ways to turn those beans into, bean dips and hummus and lentil soup and all sorts of wonderful things. Super easy, healthy, some of the best foods. When we eat at home, we have control over our diets. I mean, at restaurants, they want to sell food. So it's salt, sugar, fat to make things taste good. So you'll come back. You don't know, even if something looks healthy in a restaurant, they may not have your best interests at heart. At home, you have control. And so you don't have to add salt. You don't have to add sugar. You don't have to add extra fat. And you say, wait a second, how can I make something sweet without sugar, salty without salt? Well, that's the magic of whole food plant-based cooking. I have a cookbook, How Not to Die cookbook, that has all so-called green light ingredients, meaning not just every recipe is healthy, every single ingredient of every single recipe is healthy. And there's all sorts of ways you can cook healthily. Little did you know, and this is a great time to experiment.
I would agree. I have to say, I have both How Not to Die and the How Not to Die cookbook, and it's one of those that I just flip through and like, what am I going to make today?
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I have a new cookbook coming out this December, the How Not to Diet cookbook based on my last book.
Oh, I love it. That's such a great topic. Oh my gosh. I think all of the people who are listening today will certainly, I encourage everybody to go out and, get the original books and, read up on, your health and the things that you can do for your health, because Dr. Greger, there's so much information out there on the internet. And I think people get lost. So it's reading good, solid information from a doctor who knows what he's talking about, who's been doing this for, I don't know, how long have you been doing this with plant-based?
For about 30 years now. But rather than going out and getting the book, I would have it delivered or go to your local public library. They often have featuring a lot of ebooks these days. A great way to get that information for free.
That's perfect. I didn't realize that. So that is perfect. So I really appreciate you taking this time. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but before we go, I would just ask, what is like one thing that we haven't really touched on, one more thing that you want our audience to know and to make changes or, to do something different in their life? What's one more tidbit you can share?
Well, I mean, I think the takeaway is the good news that we have tremendous power over our health, destiny, and longevity. The vast majority of premature death and disability is preventable with a plant-based diet and other healthy lifestyle behaviors. So I encourage people to jump in.
Jump in, feet first. I think that would be great. Dr. Greger, thank you. To all of our audience, please take a look at the information that we have that is posted next to this video. And we're here at Rochester Clinic and Lotus Foundation to answer any of your questions. Dr. Greger, thank you again.
Absolutely. I can't wait to be there in the flesh.
We're looking forward to seeing you. Bye.